eye, he would have looked like a man planting bulbs in the fall and looking forward to a spring of blossoms. I guess you could say my father was planting. He was burying our family's seeds of hope. Within a minute, a hidden cavity appeared, a hole reinforced with a piece of scrap metal Papa had bent into a cylindrical shape. It was a makeshift vault, into which he dropped the sack with all our valuables, including one small unadorned silver cup, called a Kiddush cup, which is used on the Shabbat, the Sabbath. That's a holy day celebrated every week in Jewish homes from sundown Friday to sundown Saturday. It's marked by prayer, wine, and song. Shabbat is intended to be a time of rest and the most peaceful day of the week. The Kiddush cup is raised in gratitude. But there hadn't been much to sing about or celebrate in Zarki since the invasion, especially for Jews. Everything had changed in a matter of weeks. Jews could not ride buses, and Jewish children weren't allowed to go to school anymore. The Nazis shut down or took over most Jewish businesses. A strict 8 p.m. curfew was enforced. Anyone caught outside after curfew was arrested or killed. Jews were forced to wear white bands around their arms with a blue 6-point Star of David on them so that everyone would know who was Jewish. When Nazi soldiers banged at the door, Mommy Shu let out a strange screech, like a scream that was strangled by fear. She had meant to calmly say, "Come in," but of course pleasantries weren't necessary. The door was pushed open before Mommy Shu even found her voice. "Please appear, please come back," my mother surely begged my father in her mind, as 2 soldiers barged in, one tall, one squat. As if he'd been summoned telekinetically, her husband materialized in the living room doorframe, his shirt retucked, and his expression giving no hint of the panic he'd been on the verge of just moments before. His hands, which he'd soiled from digging in the dirt, were now as clean and unsuspicious as his expression. Papa had gotten the job done. "We need 500 zloty and your jewels. Now!" the tall soldier demanded. "Of course," Papa said, handing over a pile of cash, along with a charm necklace worth little and a man's pinky ring he had once found on a train without ever being able to identify the owner. He had left these 2 meaningless items in a side-table drawer before the soldiers arrived, anticipating they would want some jewelry. "Surely you can't expect us to believe this is all you have," the soldier said, as he gave his comrade a nod. The short soldier quickly moved closer to Samuel and my mother, and he pulled out a sidearm, waving it wildly in their direction. "I see you have so much that is valuable. I am sure you can do better." A dark expression crossed his face as he knelt down in front of Samuel, clearly taking notice of my brother's left hand. Samuel's right hand clutched Mommy Shu's skirt, but his left hung at his side, closed in a tight fist. "Why don't you open your hand, child?" the soldier asked in a gentle voice. "Let's see what you're hiding." Mommy Shu was crying, terrified that the soldier had taken notice of Samuel. She knew her little collector wasn't hiding anything precious, though. In fact, she knew before he uncurled his doughy little fingers what would be resting on his palm. "It's just a little rock, sir," Mommy Shu said. "He collects them." Samuel revealed a small, round gray stone, the kind of pebble you could find on any street in Poland. Samuel almost always had a rock in his hand or in his pocket, and he thought each one was unique and precious. The soldier was not amused. He didn't like to be wrong, certainly not in front of Jews. He looked at my parents' faces. He looked at Grandma Dora. If any one of them had shown a hint of a smile, he would undoubtedly have shot them all. No one was smiling. "Please, help yourself to whatever the government may need," Papa interrupted. By then, the first soldier was already searching through closets and drawers.